Hi everyone, today is Thursday, September 13th, and today's video is actually going to be about deconstructing peer review culture and nepotism. First of all, why do we even have this thing called nepotism? When we look at sort of our purpose when it comes to getting ourselves involved in sort of the university field, I really hate to even mention that because you know what, quite frankly, for those of you trying to understand sort of what this university thing is, they have these people that actually get into university and they just slide through university. They don't even, they don't read anything. They don't even write their own papers. They just go on the internet and they cut and paste things and then they hand in things. You know, it's not even theirs. There's some people that don't even know, like, logically how to think logically. They come up with, for example, all these elaborate characters of whatever. And you know what? They can't even explain why they're doing what they're doing because they haven't even checked their ethics. So you have these people, for example, that align themselves in these little cliquies, right? And they say, okay, we're going to write up this stuff. We're going to get one person connected up there, and they're all connected, like all click. So when someone comes in sort of the interest, right? It's like people are like not democratic. And one of the things that they teach actually in university is how to make your research fair and participatory, meaning open and ethical, so that you're not actually hurting people. But we see a lot of that. I mean, we have some examples of, you know, world leaders that have gone to these places, and yet, you know, they justify murders. Like, how do you actually stop that stuff? So one way to actually address things is to say, you know what? How do we actually begin to deconstruct this thing called peer review culture? Why do we even have something called a cliquey and something called peer review? For those of you that watch certain mainstream things or whatever, you might hear this thing say, hey, you know, according to the latest research, this thing is legitimate. If you ever hear something like that, you know what? Don't even touch that fucking thing. You know what? Do your little investigation. Ask, where did this come from? Who's actually behind all this stuff? Why is this stuff legitimized like this? How do we actually operationalize policy and law change? That's how you got to talk to these people. You got to understand as well that, you know what, this thing called nepotism, it's not only a whiteness thing, but it's also people of color. So you have colored versions of the whiteness practice. It's a no-no. Because then you have people like us who are like, we don't go there because we have some fucking ethics. Deconstruct this thing called peer-reviewed culture. People suggest, oh, well, you know, because they're all scientists, you know. Really? But science means knowledge, and knowledge is everything. So what is this thing really? And they just start, you know, scattering like roaches. But you can deal with the biology of a roach. And other things too. Learn to deconstruct this thing called peer-reviewed culture. It's causing a lot of problems. And as a matter of fact, the big dogs are on board. Big. So funny, they're not even going to say who they are. I just fucking laugh. Because you know what? They're going like this, scratching their heads, saying, what the fuck is this? I mean, we have a vision, and we're hiring people, but we just hire them because they have qualifications, but we never actually thought about things like that. What is the outcome of this stuff? Violence, all kinds, tragedies of all kinds. Then we have to look at differentials. What is this differential thing? Then you start connecting some dots. Some of you out there in this, this culture, just remember that peer review to us means the whole universe hemisphere. and the global hemisphere. When you say something is private, it's not private because you cater to the public. This peer review culture, you gotta check that shit out, you know? Why is, like, for example, the editor of a journal connected to this person, to this person, to this person, and to that industry? Now industry is saying, something's not right here. That's a very good thing. Nepotism. Why the fuck would you even have something called nepotism? When you actually go through the university experience, you're taught to make your research democratic. Or are you taught to practice democratic things in doing your research? You know, we can get into all these like logistics and all these like things that people do that is just fucking amazing. You don't even get it in their fucking heads, right? And do the wordplay and all that. Like, we know all that shit. We know it well. We don't even begin to think to do some of this shit. You gotta learn how to deconstruct that stuff. What that means is that you need to decolonize. How do you decolonize? Well, what the fuck did you learn in university? You know, there was this very, very influential person, international, spoke with a group of us. Said, you know what? Education should teach you guys participate in community, share, and be better people. I thought to myself, wow, that's interesting. Where did all this poverty stuff come from? Where did all this violent stuff come from? And then the processing of black cadeavors, what the fuck is that? I don't know if you guys have actually sat in, some of you guys actually think this shit is funny. Some of you, like this fucker, what's his name, this forensic pathologist in Ontario, Canada, he thought it was pretty funny, fucking funny, to write up all these little reports about families saying that families did an infraction that he was actually doing. Then what had happened, the system got after the families, destroyed their lives, and then even what this person did to single parents, single mothers, it's fucking disgusting. And they caught the motherfucker. So you know what? This guy lost his license, and this is just one example. But you know what? Got award after award after award. He's still getting fed. Still living. Living his life of luxury, whatever he's living. Piece of shit. Forensic pathologist. There's another case. Where? Just 1 second here. I just have to turn off this alarm. There was another case where a man from the Caribbean lost his flower. A person of color lost his flower. She just went, run some errands, and boom. Somebody hit her with a car. This is a person from Peace Officer Services. Hit this person with a car. So why is that fucker still getting paid? You know, some of you people, let me tell you something. You don't even understand. Because, you know, when you go through, for example, this university experience, you actually have to feel what you're doing. If you don't feel what you're doing, then don't do it. Simple. Don't do it. Some of you just go right through, you know, because you want the latest bling. You want to go fuck up Congo. And you want to sell all this shit to us. And there's some of us that are like, what the fuck is this? Go take that to Congo. Tell them how you're making fucking change. thing called peer review culture. For those of you, get involved in academic work, please. Go to your whatever university you want. As a matter of fact, just really reflect on this and say, you know what, I want to go somewhere. Even if it means to say goodbye to your friends. Doesn't matter where in the world you are, your friends will always be with you. And you can fly here, you can jet there, you can go to different places. Get involved in university education. They have some of these, I don't even know what to call them, that will say, oh no, don't get involved in university education because it's the white man's culture, and you know what? Tell them to go fuck themselves, okay? Because what you do is you're actually becoming part of a process to re-engineer things. If you actually don't know how the system works, then how can you actually change a system? Yes, you're going to have to make sacrifices. Some of the sacrifices is, you know what? No more bling. No more processed food crap. Then you start seeing who's who in the community. You see the good ethical blacks and you see some black shit. Those are the ones you want to get. You don't get them in their way. They won't even come fucking close to you. But those are the ones that said, hey, it's okay to enslave our own. Put them on the Jesus boat. Ship them away to wherever the fuck. It's black shit. To this day. Now when you have these supersized dogs that come on board, all colors, like, okay, how do we operationalize stuff? You know what you say? You say a couple things. Look at how they fucking treat others. How do people actually get into these opportunities? These people even feel what the fuck they're doing? For those of you, I tell you, I would love to have a fucking good laugh if some of these people knew who some of these dogs were. They're shaking their heads, saying this is some fucked up shit. Real fucked up. And not once did someone come forward and say, you know what, this model is just not working. Because you know what, we're getting a lot of people in this place that look like the remote, but they all think the same, to support nepotism. Or, yeah, over there's all these people that look the same because of peer review culture. Right? So how do you actually mitigate those two? Well, you go outside the academy and you say, okay, you know what, connections, low. I'm like, okay, no problem. How do we actually re-engineer these fucking systems? This is fucking disgusting. And still, some of us are like fucking eating peanuts. Going through racial profiling, this kind of shit. Not one person has stepped forward and said, you know what, something is wrong. But you know what, it starts with one. Get involved in university culture. Don't let people intimidate you, and let people call you names. And you know what, your friends, even if you have to say goodbye to them because you want to go pursue your dream, go right ahead. Because you know what, your friends will always be with you wherever you are in the world. And they will be with you in your best and at your worst. You will never have a worst. You'll have some low moments, but they'll be there to bring you up. And you know another tip? Don't even tell anybody your shit. Not one piece of shit. I look at all the shits around you. They have these like stupid little parables or whatever people say, but you know what? Come up with your own stuff. Activate what you have within you. Get involved in this academic culture, university stuff. And for other people listening to this, peer review. It's a joke sometimes. It's like, what the fuck is this? And you have like all these like hurdles that they put in the way. Well, we know hurdles is a sport, so you just move it off to the side. Because you can jump them, but you can move them off to the side and then just keep on walking straight. Then there's nepotism. What the fuck is that? How do you actually have a public infrastructure that actually operates like that? And you have poverty, severe poverty. You have like billions, millions, billions just floating around. Well, for example, black mothers are dealing with, these cadavers, little black baby cadavers. I mean, big-sized babies, but they're still their babies. That's a starting position. There's other things as well. Get involved in academic culture. And you know what? Nepotism and peer review culture. How are they any different? You know what I want to say? Thank you to the big ones. The big dogs that are invisible. Thank you very much for listening. And for some of you, I don't even know what to say. And for others, I think you're going to catch on at some point. And some are like, okay, we kind of understand what's going on here. Get involved in academic work. Go find out what this thing called peer review culture is. The title of this video is Decolonizing. Peer review culture and nepotism. How do you even begin to decolonize something like that? What's your starting position? Our starting position is we have ethics. What's yours? Some of you don't even give a shit. Don't even fucking give a shit. Until the next video, sit down and think about what you're doing. Learn to decolonize this thing called peer review culture. And this thing called nepotism, continue. Because you know, when it's time for you to collect your pension, you might not even have a pension. It sounds cruel. But when you start from the position of, like I said, this piece of shit forensic pathologist, very slick, all kinds of awards, just going. Tell him to go fuck himself. He's still living his life of luxury. Fuck him. That's how civil and democratic works. What happened to these people talking about these models? Decolonize this thing called peer review culture, as well as nepotism. Even question why nepotism even exists. Thanks for watching.